Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is lecture 10 of a geotechnical engineering. In this lecture, we are going to see some more important topics of geotechnical engineering in a quick revision format. Okay, so first we will see what is under-rim pile. Under-rim piles are bored cast in situ piles having one or more number of bulbs formed by enlarging the pile stems. Okay, it is it is the type of deep foundation used in construction to address specific challenges related to soil condition. These are all the important points related to under-rim piles. Okay, third is it is often used in areas where the soil is soft, expansive or subject to settlement. Okay, so this is the use of under-rim pile. They are also used in earthquake prone areas. Next, under-rim piles are the most safe and economical foundation in a black cotton soil. Okay. Next is their bulbs have diameter 2 to 3 times the diameter of stem. Okay. Generally, the diameter of bulb will be equals to 2.5 times of the diameter of stem. What is stem? This is your stem and this is your bulb. Okay. So diameter of bulb will be equals to 2 to 3 times of the diameter of stem. Next is spacing between the two bulb is 1.2 to 1.5 times the bulb dia. Okay, this is the spacing between the bulb, okay, is 1.2 to 1.5 times of the dia of bulb. Okay, so this is your under-rim pile. Suppose this is your under-rim pile. Okay, these are the bulb. Okay, the spacing between the bulbs are 1.2 to 1.5 times of the dia of bulb, and the dia of bulb is equals to 2 to 3 times of the dia of stem, and generally it is 2.5 times of the dia of stem. Okay, it is used in the areas where the soil is soft, expansive or subject to settlement. Now we will see how you can find the ultimate load for the clay soil. So to find the ultimate load for the clay soil, this is your formula. Okay, 9C pi by 4 dia of bulb square. This is for the under-rim pile. Okay, this is 9C pi by 4 multiplied by dia of bulb square plus alpha C bar pi d L1 plus C bar pi dB L2. Okay, this is the formula for the multi-bulb under-rim pile. Now we will see the formula for the single bulb under-rim pile. These two are the important formula for the under-rim pile to find the ultimate load. 9C pi by 4 multiplied by dB square plus alpha C bar pi d L. Okay, this is for the single bulb. So here alpha C bar pi d L total. So what are these terms? D is equals to dia of pile, dB is equals to dia of your bulb, QUP is the ultimate load, alpha is equals to adhesion factor between the clay and pile, C bar is equals to average cohesion. Okay, so these two are the formula to determine your ultimate load for the multi-bulb under-rim pile or for the single bulb under-rim pile. Okay, now we will see what is negative skin friction. So for the negative skin friction, your formula to find the ultimate load will be equals to 9C pi by 4 d square minus alpha 1 C1 bar pi d L1 plus alpha 2 C2 bar pi d L2. Okay, this is for the negative friction and this is for the frictional resistance. We will see with the help of figure so that it will be easy for you to understand what is alpha bar, alpha 1 C1 bar, alpha 2 C2 bar. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, so this is your pile. Okay, this is your pile. Here this is the frictional resistance, here this is negative friction. Okay, so in the case of negative friction it is the alpha 1 C1 bar L1. Okay, and for the frictional resistance it is alpha 2 C2 bar L2. Okay, that's why in the formula we have used different types of alpha 1 C1 and alpha 2 C2. Okay, this is for the negative friction and this is for the frictional resistance. This is for the filled up soil and this is for the natural stiff soil. This is your pile. Okay, so this is the formula to determine the ultimate load for the negative skin friction. It is 9C pi by 4 d square minus this is for the negative friction and this is for the frictional resistance. Frictional resistance will be plus and negative friction will be in minus. Okay, remember this formula to determine the ultimate load. Now we will see group action of pile. So this is the group action of pile. Group action of pile means QUG. Okay, ultimate load of group. Okay, it is equals to Q bearing plus Q friction. QUG is equals to 9CB square plus alpha C bar 4BL. 4BL, how you can find the 4BL? M is equals to number of piles in row or column. B is equals to, here you have to find the value of B. So how you can find the value of B, we will see. Okay, to find the value of B, you have to m minus 1, use this formula, m minus 1 multiplied by s plus d. What is m here? M is equals to number of piles in a row or column, and s is the spacing between the pile. Okay, you can find the efficiency as the QUG upon number of pile multiplied by the ultimate load of individual pile. Okay, so QUG upon n multiplied by QUP. So this is the formula to find the efficiency. In cohesionless soil, efficiency should be greater than 100%. In cohesive soil, it can be 100%, less than 100%, or greater than 100%. So in this way, you can find the ultimate load of a pile group. Now you will see the total settlement of a pile group. Okay, the topic that we are studying in the quick revision format, we will cover the numerical of all these topics. Okay, so that it will be easier for you to understand the topic, and you can understand how you can implement the formula to solve the numerical also. Okay, so this is the pile group. Okay, and load Q is applied. Okay, this is your ground level, and this is the length of your pile. So this is the total settlement formula for the clay soil, for the friction soil. Okay, so this is your formula to find the total settlement, and this is your sigma 1 bar, and this is your change in sigma bar. Okay, change in sigma bar is equals to Q upon the area, load upon area. Okay, so with the help of this formula, you can find the total settlement for the friction pile clay soil. We will see the total settlement of a pile group for the bearing pile. Okay, so these are the piles. This is the pile group. Okay, load Q is applied. Now the total settlement formula remains the same, Cc upon 1 plus E log 10 sigma 1 bar plus change in sigma bar upon sigma 1 bar. Bar means effective stress, multiplied by H. Okay, here sigma 1 bar is equals to this, and sigma change in sigma bar is equals to Q upon the area. Okay, we will see the question related to this two type of total settlement of pile groups, so that it will be easy for you to understand how you can solve the numerical of this topic. Okay, so as for now, you can see the formula to determine the total settlement of a pile group for the friction pile and for the bearing pile. Okay, now we will move ahead. Next topic is soil exploration. Okay, in the soil exploration, the important topics are the area ratio, outside clearance, inside clearance. Okay, so what is our area ratio? It is d square minus d2 square minus d1 square upon d1 square. What is d1 and d2? This is your d2. Okay, and what is d1? This is your d1. So d2 square minus d1 square upon d1 square multiplied by 100. What is outside clearance? It is d2 minus d4 upon d2. This is the d2 and this is the d4. So d2 minus d4 upon d2 multiplied by 100. So this is your outside clearance. For the inside clearance, it is d3 minus d1 upon d1. d3 minus d1 upon d1. This is for the inside clearance, and this is for the outside clearance. Okay, d2 minus d4 upon d2 is the outside clearance, and d3 minus d1 upon d1 is the inside clearance multiplied by 100. Okay, note thicker the sample, thicker sampler is equals to area ratio will increase, and the degree of disturbance will increase for the thicker sampler. Okay, area ratio should be less than 10%. Inside clearance should lie between 1 to 3. Outside clearance should not be much greater than the inside clearance. Okay, these three are the important point related to the area ratio, outside clearance and inside clearance. Area ratio should be less than 10%. Inside clearance should lies between 1 to 3. Outside clearance should not be much greater than the inside clearance. Okay, so D2 will be greater than D4, then D3, then D1. Now we will see the recovery ratio. So recovery ratio will be equals to recovered length of sample upon penetration length of sample. Okay, if recovery ratio is equals to 1, that means it is a good recovery. If recovery ratio is greater than 1, means it swells. If the recovery ratio is less than 1, then means it is compressed. Okay, now we will move ahead and see different methods of exploration on soil. So these are the different methods of exploration in soil. First is direct or open excavation for less than 6 meter depth for the drift, shaft, pits and trenches. Okay, then semi-direct method or the boring First is auger boring, wash boring, percussion boring, rotary boring, core drilling. Okay, third one is indirect method, that is geophysical method, sounding rods, etc. You can see all the theory from the book also. Okay, so these are the theory that we are not going to cover in detail. We have covered the different important topics of geotechnical engineering in a quick revision format. Now from the next lecture we will start the numerical of geotechnical engineering topic wise. Okay, so you can cover all the numerical topic wise, and you can, if you haven't covered the previous lecture, then you can go to the geotechnical engineering playlist and cover all the previous lectures. Okay, if you have any query you can ask in the comment section, and if you want to give your feedback you can also give your feedback in the comment section. You can appreciate the effort by like, share and subscribe, and in the next lecture we will see some more important topics. Thank you for watching. Thank you.